this like a current project, and as I said, I worked on Postgres on multiple projects. So worked on like a day-to-day activities, like whatever the incidents we get support. We did support and also like worked on high availability. That is the RepMGR. So I worked on the RepMGR and also like dashboard Grafana. So cloud environment, most like from past 4 years I'm working on AWS. So where like we work with other teams closely, DevOps teams and other teams. So where like I set up Grafana dashboard for the monitoring posters. So that is the one. And RDS and Aurora is the main like I work. So RDS and Aurora is like both MySQL and Postgres supports. So most of the time, like on Aurora, we support application activities. So whatever the performance related, so loggings, so high connections and the blockings, query like long running queries. These things we work and we work with the application team and we fix it. So for sometimes like we need to check like which queries, if any spikes on the this information, this performance insight. So we used to discuss with the application team, these are the spikes we found and alerts we used to get. So based on that, if any query required, like a queries tune required, so we check like why the table, is there any like a table issue or like index issue. So these things and the partition required, we go for partition. So those things, everything like an Aurora. And on-prem like I worked on the high availability where like a replication was the RepMGR we used. So high availability, most of the time we used to get like some switchover failures, like failure happened but not properly, both primary and secondary were like primary is not properly like switchover. So that time we used to check like what was the issue and still like which application is pointing to which node, whether it is pointing correctly to the latest primary or still it is pointing to the old primary. So these things we check. So sometimes due to the disk issues, so it may get failure. So sometimes like bad like these faulty errors of the disk. So that time heartbeat will, and it may think like the server is not responding, and it will RepMGR switch over the secondary as a primary. So that time we check like why this lag. If they really like a faulty disk, then we used to rebuild the cluster again. Whatever the node we detach and we rebuild again and we attach to the cluster. So that is the where we worked on the replication high availability. And upgradations are like part like we used to send mails to the application team like these to be end of the life, we need to upgrade. So once we get the proper confirmation and change window, then we used to upgrade. So those things I work. And apart from this backup and restore, as like current project with the migration, once the data get migrated from Sybase, we need to build the environment for the application team. So different applications require different data. Then we used to do PG restore on particular data. We fetch and we restore it and we provide to them so that they can set up the application. So those are the main. And replication already like here we are using EDB. So EDB is the like Postgres version we are using, and we have EFM and Barman both available tools from the EDB. EFM we are using for the high availability and Barman for the backups. So once we set up like any replication issues, like these backups need to be restored, new setup, then we disable the replication, then we reset up everything, the environment, again we enable the EFM. So those are some like ad hoc requests we used to get. And the application side, like whatever the post migration, the like the scripts, existing scripts, and also the triggers, procedures, and characters. Some characters that like inside this application used to complaint like they are failing to insert some data. So when we check like what exactly the issue, then inside the functionality side is like it will trim the data and it will allow to insert the data characters if it is exceed. But in Postgres, it will not allow. It throws error like the data it is exceed whatever the character set. So that was the error. So these kind of errors we used to get after migration, post migration, and some formulas, whatever the formulas they written. So as we converted like a tool converted, but that time same formula it may converted, but still they are facing some issues because of the Postgres functionality is different. For example, date format, some the head and also the count. These are missing like null values. Instead of like the formula is same, but instead of that like it is fetching the null value instead of the value. So we used to check like table structure, what exactly the converted data, whether which column it is fetching the formula is same, but still like what exactly the formula is fetching. The same value it is fetching, like we compare both environment inside this same query and in Postgres, and we check like okay, so these small minor changes if required, like we used to do based on the requirement. So that like closely we work with the application to fix these kind of issues post migration.
Okay, so great. So while you are migrating database Sybase basically, right? Sybase to Postgres. So
Yes.
have you used any tool or just you done manual activities?
Tool like bank itself, it's a Murex application. Murex given tool, but it's not 100% accurate. So every time we used to find the bugs and we used to update like these are the issues. So tool convert like the data and complete data of the Murex application. But there are some customized data also available that we did manually, and stored procedures like functions, these everything written by bank people, not Murex. So these cannot be done by Murex application, Murex tool. So we did like we first initially we used SQL line for this, but SQL line also like when we compiled the same converted stored procedures, but we used to get a lot of errors. Then we use some AI tools like ChatGPT and the uh, Copilot. So with the help of Copilot, like what exactly the stored procedure is doing. So we used to understand like the logic of that stored procedure. Then we based on that we used to rewrite wherever like after compiling whatever the error we are getting. Based on that we used to take help of AI tools and we rewritten.
Okay. So, okay. So let's start from here the migration. So we work on this. So let's start from the upgrade part. So currently, which version you are using as Postgres?
15 version we are in.
15. Okay, that is a stable one, right?
Yes.
So let's have an example. We have running Postgres server, right? And suddenly team is getting error that no space in the mount point, right? So what will the
Okay.
step to resolve this issue?
So space issue like we check like any walls got piled up. So we check like if wall got piled up, then we check like why is there any huge transaction or replication got broken. Maybe slots are still available on the primary. So that we check. So if wall issues, then we can do PT archive cleanup. So these things, and barman is the we are using tool. So archive should be done by barman. So we check like the barman got failed or not, why archive files are piling up. So they based on that we used to check and fix it.
Okay. So let's another example regarding that you get a call or tickets from that end user application team that suddenly they are facing slowness on the database side, right? Or application is responding very slow. They are not able to fetch the data as previously they are getting. So what are the steps to resolve this issue?
Yeah, we check like CPU, like is there any CPU utilization, top command we run, which queries, is it like a DB process are running. If
Mhm.
it is DB process, then we check like which it is and any slow queries or any blockings.
Mhm.
So we check like a blockings. If it any blockings based on because of the blockings, then immediately we inform application team these are the blockings. Shall we kill? So if they say like okay, then we kill it. If it is another any like other related long running or like any maintenance jobs are running, then we take care of like if earlier like we used to do PG repack like initially it worked fine, then later based on the huge data growing, it took more time. Then we discussed and we rescheduled like the timing, everything, so that before any like this business hours should not impact. So these kind of things, everything we check back at what exactly the causing, then based on that we take action.
Okay. So can you name some extension that is used in current environment? PG extensions. Yeah.
Extension I worked not current in current PG statements only we use, but I worked on the timescale DB and also timescale DB and this one what we say PG buffer and also like for PG uh, for audit that is security. Um, I also we use PG something. Okay, I not remember that name.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, mainly like a PG scale. Like I worked complete IoT project, so it was like that time. Timescale DB doesn't support RDS and Aurora, so we created EC2 instance and we set up. So timescale DB, we like each device data. Whenever data comes directly, it will create a chunk of the table instead of a partition not required. So every sensor data based on the time frame, it will create a subtables called chunks. So parent table will be available. So each time frame data will be stored in separate subtables.
Okay. Have you done partitioning in Postgres?
Yes, we did. Some tables were like huge tables we were.
Mhm.
So on that we created partition. So partition in the sense the like these data will be archived. So means like it's not exactly the partition. So every month, like whatever the end of the month, the triggers given by the application team. So that will be dev team. That will be run. We scheduled it from the PG cron. So that it will run and it will create a new table with the existing structure. And from first day of the month, so new data will go to the new table and we maintain these tables for the 6 months old table and we move to the archive.
So what is difference between inherit tables and partition table? Any idea? Inherits table and partition table. Yeah. What you they told
No,
you
I
that you are
heard,
just
but
moving the data in another table, right?
uh,
So this is not a partitioning. This is archiving basically, right? You are
yes,
just.
yes.
But about the partitioning, just like in Sybase or Oracle or SQL, you can just partition a table, right? On the date format, yeah, whatever that key there, right? On basis of that,
Uh,
right?
yes.
So in Postgres, we have a table partitioning as well as inherit tables, right? Parent and child table, we can say that. So,
Yeah.
have you implemented this type of?
No, not this. Like in timescale DB, as I work like a chunks of the table. It's called as a child table. Parent table will be same. So every chunk table we can like once we connect to the table, so we can see parent table and below that, like each chunk is a kind of table itself. Like we can access each chunks as a table. So we can direct write query on the chunk of the table. For example, table it starts like 010203. So it keep on growing. So we can directly go to fifth chunk of the table, whatever the data we need.
Okay. So let's say example, we have a 1.5 TB of one customer table, right? Customer data table, right? And it is staying on default table space. And now we are planning that we need to move this single table, customer detail or customer history, we can say that, to another user defined table space. So what are the steps for achieving this activity or this task?
So like a table requires separate table space, not in base directory. It won't like a separate.
Yep.
We can create table space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can create table space, but like a link will be created as we can see in base directory, data directory. We have PG table space where the link will be created. So while creating table itself, we need to create a table space and the path. Like where we create the path, that path should be owned by the Postgres.
Okay.
And when we create a user, we need to create user with the table space like owner. So that like that user whenever connects, so it have like direct access to that table directly. It will stop like when we assign the permission, automatically whenever user connects and inserts, it will directly go to that table space and it will create insert data in that table.
Okay. So what will be the command to moving this table from that default table space to user defined table space? Any idea?
No, we
Okay.
exactly I don't know. I need to check.
Okay, not an issue. So coming to this, okay, we have done optimization. Have you done optimizations and tuning of the queries? Have you got chance to work on this?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tuning we did. So based on like bloating, whatever tuning in the query, like we check, discuss with the application team, like large tables are like explained based on the explain plan. So if it is sequential scan, so we check like explain plan and we send information to them, so that this is the like before the explain plan and whatever the changes we do after that. So if it is sequential scan, then we check like what type of query, whether they are using any filter and how many rows they are fetching. So whether they need the proper rows, whatever they are fetching, the index is available on those rows, whatever they are fetching. So these everything we check, and in explain plan we can see like whether it is sequence scan or like what type of scan it is doing. Based on that, if required work memory need to be bumped up. If it going out of memory, then we suggest work memory. It is dynamic. They can also set. If not, then if it is like the index required, and also as maintenance, we check like all the index has been like used. Is there any unused indexes? And some index are there, but still they are using some group by. So composite index are required. So these we check and we suggest like okay. So you are using only one row, rows which are using only one index, but still another you are grouping that in rows also should be used create index. So we test it on dev environment like by creating some indexes. If it is decrease the cost of the time, then we suggest same thing. We tested these things, it works. So need to be done on production.
Okay. So what are different type of indexes Postgres provided?
P3 index and GT some. These one and composite index some are there. So those are.
Okay. And let's say example, we need to create our new environment for an application, and you have to just configure that from that PG settings, right? So let's say example, we have a 64 GB of memory and 1 TB of storage. So how will you set that shared buffer, temp buffer, worker memory, and maintenance memory, and effective cache sizes for the environment.
Whatever the shared buffer we have. So initially, we set it with like 25 to 25%. It can be increased, but we go with the minimum storage and based on the connections. And like we have this PG benchmark, so we run it like how much load or how many connections. Based on the connections, we set it. And the maintenance work memory, if and also the work memory. So we set like a shared buffer, whatever. Based on that, it can be set it like 50%, and it should not reach more than. And mainly like the connections here, based on the connections. So it should not reach unnecessarily like how much connections we set. Based on that, we go. And PG benchmark benchmark we can use so that we can get like what exactly the load on the database.
Okay, and what about the effective cache sizes? What will we set?
Effective cache, if like it is complex, like the application is complex they are using, so it required more, but it should be not more than 20% of the shared buffer.
Okay. Okay, so recovery, database recovery. So you're using Arman?
Barman.
Barman, okay. Or
Barman it was Volg. Yeah. Barman I worked.
Okay, so you are working on AWS, right? Totally the AWS environment, or Azure also.
No, only AWS. Azure, like I have knowledge, but I have no hands-on.
So what are the different DMS support by AWS? Have you any idea?
DBMS we use for like only data, large data. Like if it is small data, we use ptdump. For large data, we use the DMS. Like DMS set up everything like instance EC2, and we create RDS and we request the infra team, this SRE team. They will create this replication server, and these things we provide like RDS details and also like the target machine. So that once we get, like we can create like the task, what task like load, what type of load we are doing, full load or like it's a continuous load, CDC load. So based on that we create the task and we monitor in the CloudWatch.
So what is different between full load and CDC only?
Full load, like a CDC is like a continuous replication, logical replication need to be created both sides. Like we need to enable the PG and logic we need to. But full load is like one-time activity, like whatever the data we have. So it's not like a continuous. Once it's done, like huge tables migration or those kind of things, migrating data we use. But the like different versions it is, for that we use CDC.
Okay. Okay. So what are the different? We can say that system catalogs you are using on daily basis. Any list of that? System catalogs.
PG start statements, PG users, PG user tables for like any IOs, or like the PG start statements mainly used, and start statements where like the long running queries or like any queries, what exactly the query is doing and what type of which user it is running. These things we can get from the PG start statements. And the PG user tables we can use, like what are the tables, if any, like temp like tables created, like space creator on temp files creator on the tables. So these things we can get. So these are mainly used catalog system tables.
Okay. So have you done migration from SQL Server to Postgres or only Sybase to Postgres?
Only Sybase to Postgres, and Oracle, like long back I worked with this IBM MCSQL. That was the one, a single store. It was a like single store MCSQL. So that also I did. But I had like a Sybase and MSSQL all almost same. But I haven't done on MSSQL.
Okay. Okay, then I have done from my side. Do you have any question?
Is it like complete migration project or like migration plus support?
No, totally. First, this is totally migration basically. That is on-premise to AWS.
Okay.
Okay, about 5 to 6 TB of data they are migrating.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anything else?
No.
Okay, Vijay. Thank you. Nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.